truth. Really, that's all we know. Keep it real and authentic. This truth be told. Only the truth. Tune in, cause you gotta watch. It's like you with us while we kick it in the barbershop. Here to motivate and inspire. Hosted by the real deal and the God Barber. I hope that you ready. Keep it funny and edgy. Let's go. You already know. Truth be told. Let's go.
Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. We've been missing Troof Be Told of Green. We are back, baby. This is season 13.
Season 13, baby.
You know how it go, man. We 13 deep, huh?
13 deep, boy.
Yeah, 13 deep, baby.
Real, man. That's almost a milestone. What's a milestone?
Well, I mean, I don't know what a milestone.
Seasons?
I thought a milestone was them little colored little balls. Those not milestones. Those not milestones.
Oh, what?
Then those little, you know, they got the red, little purple, pink. What's those things?
Gemstones?
What they called?
Gemstones?
Oh, trip now.
What's that gemstone? What's that milestone?
Oh, my bad.
What's a milestone, like, what, 20 seasons to be a milestone? 15 seasons?
Heck, man, like you always say, Green, man, this is our jump, man. We can make up our own milestone. We're going to be 15. You want to be 15?
Yeah, 15 to be a milestone. In my eyes. A milestone, baby.
Oh, man.
We had 13 seasons, man.
Yeah.
Golly, boy.
We getting it.
Yeah, man, we getting it, man.
Yeah.
Don't even seem like that long. We've been at that long.
So, listen, man, we so excited to be back this season. And we doing a little thing, you know, we doing some things different. We're doing just we got a little wrinkle this year, you know. You know, let me just say, hey man, I'm your host, Real Deal, and my co-host is
the God Barber. That's what they call me.
The one and only the God Barber, right?
Yeah.
Well, the God Barber, we got somebody else this year.
Boy, we got somebody else, boy.
Huh? Added to the broadcast.
I'm talking about, boy. I'm so excited. For this young lady right here.
Yeah.
She a young lady now.
Yeah, she is a young lady.
Yeah.
And just so you guys know, she's always been here. She's always been kind of working in the tail and the back end of things behind the scene, but and she's gonna stay in that role, but she's gonna have a voice. You know, she's gonna have a voice to the podcast. So whenever you hear her, well, hey, hello, you there?
Hello.
Hey,
what's up, guys?
My girl Dizzy is in the house.
Yes, sir.
That's gonna be her name. We ain't come up with an official name, but is it gonna be Dizzy?
Dizzy? No.
What is it gonna be?
Let's just stay with Dizzy.
Dizzy. All right. Dizzy. We'll go with Dizzy.
Hey. BT got a thing that come on every year called Black Girl Rocks. So Black Girl Rocks, baby.
Okay.
We got us a sister.
All right, Dizzy. How you doing, Dizzy?
I'm good.
She's a little shy, but Dizzy gonna get the hang of this. Hey man, while you here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We got an exciting show tonight. I'm happy to have Dizzy be a part of the new Troof Be Told. I can't even say it's the old Troof. It's the new Troof Be Told because we got a new person on. You know what I'm saying?
Well, thank you, guys.
Thank you. Nice to have you too.
Yes, sir, Dizzy.
So tonight, Green.
Yep.
We got a special guest, and I want to bring this brother right on in because we got a lot to talk about. New season, it's a new me, new you.
Yes, sir.
And man, we've been doing this for a long time, so.
I'm talking about a long time.
Yeah. You ready?
Yeah. I got a new backdrop coming too, Real.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, boy.
It's coming?
It's coming. I got to place that order.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, it's coming, boy.
I like that shirt. I like that shirt and the hat you got on too.
The Rays, man. You know, to be honest with you, Real, I found this hat at Marshall's probably about a year or two ago. About a year ago. I didn't even know what team it was. I just seen it was just like a star.
Yeah.
And it was a Major League Baseball logo in the back. So I said, well, shoot, the hat looked pretty smooth. But I didn't know it was a Rays hat. I really pay attention to it, man.
Yeah.
And then one day I asked somebody in the shop, because I would have had it in the shop. I said, y'all, what team is it? They said, Green, you know what team that is? I said, no. They said, that's the Rays. I said, okay. So I found a shirt that matched it, baby.
Green.
Tampa Rays, baby.
Don't tell nobody else.
Home run.
Don't tell nobody else that story,
Man,
Green.
I'm being real, man. I didn't know what that was, man. This don't look like no baseball hat from the front. It's a star. I don't. Hey, man, I'm down with the Rays, baby.
There it is. Hey, all right, listen, Green. Let's go ahead and do this, man. Tonight's special guest, man. He is a local guy from Sarasota. Actually, he is one of Booker Tornado. Actually, the school that I work at currently. He left Booker High School and went to play in the college level. Became a All-American. Also played in the All-Star game for all collegiate football players. Former NFL player. Also now is the owner and the host. I don't know if he's the host or he's the co-host of a new podcast called Fill in the Gaps. A husband, a father, the one and only man, the guy that I met a few years back on the 707 circuit, man. Had a blast just getting to know him and playing in the circuits around the state. But a good guy, really good guy, man. It's a pleasure to have you on the show tonight. Mr. Jeremy Butler is in the building.
Jeremy.
Jeremy, man, what's going on, baby?
What's good, man? I appreciate y'all having me on, man. I'm excited.
Hey, listen, you excited? I'm excited, man.
What's up, man?
Hey, Jeremy, now you tell me, man. You knew what that star was on this guy hat, right?
Nah, not at all.
See that?
Oh man, God darn, Jeremy.
Hey, man, I'm telling you, man.
God darn, Jeremy.
Because you know I ain't watch baseball like that. You know, but yeah, man. When I found out it was a Rays, I said, okay, I'm good. Boy.
Okay.
I got two hats, boy.
Well, Jeremy, let me ask you a question, man. Are you from Sarasota or are you from Bradenton?
Man, I'm from Sarasota.
Okay. Okay. I mean, the way you said that too now, that's a little rough now, Jeremy. You know, we from Bradenton now.
Yeah, because on the bio they said you from Bradenton.
Nah, we lived in Bradenton, man. I don't know why.
Okay, there it is. Now there.
Okay.
Where at in Bradenton, Jeremy? Where you lived at in Bradenton? Do you remember?
Right off it wasn't even considered Bradenton, man. It was right off of like University in 301 somewhere.
Okay. I got you. Yeah, you right. Yeah. You right on that little border, man. Yeah. You might be televised a little area on
he's still
something.
Yeah.
Manatee County though, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So Jeremy, man, listen. So here's the thing. I heard that you were actually going to be attending, or you did attend, a school before Booker, or you were about to leave Booker. What was up with that?
Man, Booker was playing. They was trying to make me play tight end.
Okay.
They told me to put that hand in the dirt. I wasn't going for that. Sarasota High, and they gave me a shot. I did my thing. Ended up balling against Booker. And I was in my senior class, so I came back to Booker after I kind of did my thing over there, and the rest is history. But yeah, I had to leave, man. I wouldn't put my hand in that dirt.
Wait, hold on.
They tried to put you at tight end. How big you was? What you was big?
I was about 190, 185.
About what, 6'1", 6'2"?
About 6'1". But I wasn't playing no tight end, man. I wasn't finna be blocking those D linemen and picking up. I don't even know lineman protections, man. I wasn't finna learn all that.
But Jeremy, wait, who was your head coach, man? Was that Coach Fred?
We gotta holler at Fred.
Come on, Coach Fred.
Come on, Fred.
So Jeremy, what was it, man? Like, you said they tried to put your hand in the dirt. What was it, a speed thing, or what was the case, man?
I think so, man. I ain't gonna lie. I wasn't the fastest, but I had enough to play water. I wasn't big enough to play in that dirt. That's one thing I knew. But looking back at it, man, it probably wouldn't have been a bad decision because tight ends getting paid now, man. They ain't got to block nobody. But when I was coming through, you had to block, and I wasn't going for all that.
Yeah.
Well, that's crazy. So Booker tried to put him at tight end. He left and went to Sarasota and put you out with receiver.
Yeah, they let me play.
And you balled out against Booker.
Yeah, man, killed Booker, and we won.
Hey, listen, okay.
What was that stat line? What was that stat line?
I think, man, I only had 2 catches for 85 yards and a touchdown. I think I hit him for like a 70-yard touchdown.
Mm.
Okay, now my next question was the touchdown, was you lined up on Booker side of the ball? I mean, like on the Booker sideline? Was you close by their sideline?
Nah, I was on the other sideline. I
Oh,
just remember
okay.
when I caught the rock, man, everything went silent. But I was not finna not score that touchdown against Booker. I
Okay.
had to get down. I
So
don't care if we won or lost. I had to get there.
That's why I asked Ray, if he was on Booker sideline,
yeah.
would he call it? I wonder, was he watching the sideline while he running?
Yeah.
That's my deal.
Yeah. So Jeremy, tell me this now. When you scored that touchdown against Booker, I mean, I know it had to feel good, but in your mind, did you verbally out loud, or were you? Did it come like inside where you maybe cussed out the whole Booker staff? Like, what was your reaction after you did that, man?
I ain't do it out loud, but inside my heart, boy, everybody got it.
Boy,
Everybody can get it.
Status, I told you so ever.
Yeah.
Everybody got it.
Yeah.
what?
Totally understand that.
And then he went back to Booker.
So what got you back to go? What got you back at Booker though? Did Coach Fred come and get you? Like, hey man, I made a mistake. Like, what was that?
Nah, it was the guys I started my freshman year with. I wanted to graduate with them, like Brock, Andre Hobbs, Aaron McCray, all those dudes. And I wasn't no fool. Sarasota wasn't putting nobody in school, so I could have stayed over there and balled out and been working somewhere in Sarasota, or I could have went back to Booker and got me a better look at college, and it ended up working out. And it's funny, man, when I went back, and it ain't no bad blood between us, but when I went back, me and Fred still never had that talk. Like, man, I shouldn't have put you at tight end. We never had that talk. It was just like all right, you need me, I need you. You know what I mean? We just kept moving.
Yeah. Man.
Y'all ain't never had that talk. Y'all still ain't. Y'all can talk right now, man. Say, Fred, man, how you feel now, baby? Hey, Jeremy, you say Andre Hobbs?
Yeah, that's one of my boys, man.
Yeah, that's my boy. I played college basketball with Andre Hobbs, man. We was at Edward Waters College in Jacksonville.
Maybe dad.
Yeah, his dad.
Dad.
Yeah. Well, I should have said senior. Yeah. Andre Hobbs senior. Yeah.
Yeah, his dad can hoop. His dad can hoop. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my boy there, Andre. Yeah, man.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
So how did your season end up that year when you went back to Booker, and for your senior year?
It was straight. And I'm gonna tell you something funny, man. So I went back and I let him know though before I come back, like, I'm not playing tight end, man. Don't get me back over here and think that's what we finna do. Like, so I came back, showed up 2 weeks into the season. Hey, man, come over here with the tight ends. Man, listen here. I ain't.
Oh no! What?
I'm telling you, man. Like, they tried to send me to a tight end camp one day. Man, they came and knocked on the door of my mama's house. I told my mama, like, hey, I ain't here. I ain't going. I ain't getting on that bus to go to nobody training camp with no tight end and be blocking with no. Man, I ain't doing that. So they finally got the hint that I just wasn't going for it, and then they left me a receiver. But it turned out good. I ended up making a lot of plays. Ended up getting into the high school All-Star game, the Power Bowl. I think I scored in the Power Bowl. Got a couple good looks, but I still didn't get no scholarship that year. I had to go to JUCO.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was reading that. What's the name of that JUCO that you went to?
Reedley College. Man, listen.
Okay.
You know how in the movies, like the little ghost town, the cowboy movies, and they had a little hayweed rolling across the town?
Yeah.
Man, I got to school and seen that the first day on campus. There was nobody on campus.
Wow.
It was a ghost town, man. I wanted to come back home as soon as I landed, but I stayed and made it work. But yeah, Reedley College. I'll never forget that place.
Now, at that particular school, like you said, you didn't stay there that long. You end up going to a school that was not too far down the road, right?
Yeah, man. College is Sequoias.
Mm.
They came and recruited us. It was kind of the same scenario where at Reedley College, we had a bunch of. That's like, I honestly say this. Even going to the NFL, like that team at Reedley College, like that's probably the most talented team I've ever been on, ever played for. Like, I'm talking about just dogs everywhere, like the most freaks of nature everywhere on the team. Just everybody on that team could have played in the league if they would have kept their head right. Like the same scenario though. We talented, but nobody going to school. Ain't no scholarship. Ain't nobody transferring to D1. But then over here at COS, we beat them, and they put 15 guys in D1 last year. So I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna have to go ahead and make this move, man.
Got you.
What?
Got you.
So what? I'm sorry. So what little league you played for in Sarasota?
Redskin field.
Redskins.
I played under Coach Grover and Coach Fred.
So you had Fred in little league and Fred in high school.
No. It was it was what's his, not Fred. I'm tripping. Coach Grover and Coach Billy Lewis. That's what it was.
Oh, Bill Lewis.
Okay.
I mean, I don't really know too much, you know. So let me ask you something. So, you consider a Sarasota legend? You know, it seemed like because I never heard of Jeremy. You know, not that I hear about everybody in Sarasota, but when you think about Sarasota football, his name didn't come up for like Booker players. You always hear them boys from the last name Jones, and all them boys there. So, are you consider a Sarasota legend in your mind for sports?
No.
No.
I got more the underdog story. I got more the I for sure got more of an underdog story. I was like, ain't nobody think I was gonna ever make it out. You know, like my senior year coming out, nobody would ever told you I was the best person on the team. When I went to JUCO, I had to come back out of JUCO and sit out a year. Everybody for sure just thought like, oh, you ain't leaving again. And then when I left, it took for me to like probably my senior year in college at Tennessee Martin. When I started breaking those records and got FCS All-American and Associated Press all of that attention, that's when it kind of started like, he can play. Okay, I know Jeremy. I remember Jeremy. So, I wouldn't consider myself a legend in not down there at home.
And that's interesting when you say, you know, the underdog thing, because at times just being an underdog, it can play an effect on you personally, just your self-ego, right? And sometimes you feel like, oh, dang, like, do I really have it, or should I hang it up, or what kept you going? Like, really, like, what kept you going? Was it somebody? Was it your mom? Was it your friends? Or was it something that you just had to discover yourself, that you had to tell yourself that I can play this game? Like, what kept you going?
It was two things, man. One of the points connect back to my childhood, man. It's like just from not having pops, like I grew up like with that hole in my chest, man. Like insecure, like just didn't really feel important, didn't really feel valued growing up. Like most young men without a dad, I was insecure. And so when I finally like fell in love with football, man, I feel like that's what I was destined to do. Like I almost forgot I even needed a daddy on that field. Like football was my sanctuary away from everything. So like it's how I kind of ran from my childhood. So I wouldn't take a no for an answer. So like that's point one where it was the only thing I kind of could pour into that kind of loved me back. So football was my baby. So I wasn't giving up on it. And two, I just kind of had like this unshakable faith, man. Like I just knew, like I don't care who you put in front of me. Like I got somewhere to go, bro. Like I know I'm going to the league, and no matter what the circumstances look like, ain't nobody gonna outwork me. You ain't gonna stay at it longer than me. You ain't gonna put it the time in. Like I wasn't going, so I would just say my determination is just that, like my faith.
All right,
and that's good. That's good to hear too, man. Because you know, a lot of young kids that's coming up playing football. You know, youth league football, high school football.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of these kids feel like you have to be that guy,
right,
to make it.
Right.
You know, a lot of these kids right now, with how it's going now with football, with all this, you know, transfer portal stuff, and if you're not a 5-star, you're not a 4-star, you're not gonna have a chance to go play Division I, or even have a chance to even make it to the big level, you know, NFL.
Right.
Because a lot of these kids feel like if you ain't that, you ain't gonna make it.
Yeah.
But Jeremy showed the kids, hey man,
yeah,
if it's meant for you, it's meant for you.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And everybody not gonna be a 5-star,
right,
4-star, 3-star. You can still make it with no stars.
And
you know?
And Jeremy, I mean, I'm pretty sure, you know, when you were coming through, whatever. Did they have 5-star, 4-star stuff when you were coming through, or not yet?
Oh, yeah, the rivals, all of that. Rivals was like picking up steam when I was coming out. Like we used to be all on the rivals website looking at stuff, and for whatever reason, man, like I'd never be the one to like try to throw my coaches under the bus and none of that. I made peace with all of that, but for whatever reason, they just would not let us go to camps my senior year. Like we could not go to camps. We couldn't go to no rivals camps. We couldn't go do no Nike camps. And again, my mindset was, man, you ain't telling me all these dudes we playing against year round. If I go out here on a camp, and I ain't finna get nobody attention or I ain't finna get a scholarship. But for whatever reason, they just would not let us go do camp. So, man, I ain't know nothing. I ain't even sniff a star.
Right, right. And I think for the majority, man, it was very interesting when I looked at a NFL roster and they went back and they started looking at how many stars players had. The majority of the roster, guys didn't have 4 or 5 stars like that. It's very interesting to see how things play out when it gets to the league. And like you were saying, to your effort of how much work that you put into it, right? Most times when things are seen to become easy or given to athletes, sometimes it don't always pan out because they don't know how to work, right? And that person, that underdog, comes right behind them and gives a spot because they know that drive they have. So, Jeremy, when you were at UT Martin, even before going to UT Martin, you were thinking about going to Colorado, right? And that fell through, right? Ended up at UT Martin. And I believe before you got there, Derek Carr was the quarterback there. And Derek Carr threw the ball quite a bit, right? Did that have anything to do with why you went to UT because of how much they threw the ball?
Oh yeah, for sure. And coming from JUCO, I was committed to Colorado, man. I cried like a baby when I fell through too, because I'm like, man, okay, I'm finally D1. I done got it out of that mud. But coming in JUCO, if you don't take the right classes, you can't just transfer into any school. So I couldn't transfer to Colorado because I had to, thinking I ain't know nothing about choosing a degree. So I'm just, okay, yeah, I want to be a medical trainer or something. I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm in here taking medical classes to be a sports trainer. And now when it's time to transfer and get the scholarship to Colorado, it don't transfer in because I don't got the credits. I got to take more credits.
Wow.
I would have basically been a freshman trying to come on their campus. So they was like, man, we got to let the scholarship go.
Wow.
And when that happened, like I had Colorado, Georgia Tech, and Louisiana Tech offering me. But all of that fell through. And Tennessee Martin was the only school that said, hey, like if you go home a year, just stay in shape, take a couple of classes online, just stay in shape, stay in shape, stay in shape. We'll give you a shot. We'll wait on you. And they did. So kept their word. So that's like when it was time for me to actually get up, like when that eligibility opened back up and it's time for me to go, a couple of the schools like HBCUs came and offered me some scholarships, but I just at that point I felt committed to them because like they was loyal to me. So I said, man, I gotta go up there now. Because I had taken a visit before I committed to Colorado. I took a visit to Tennessee Martin.
Okay.
And I was just like, it's one of them visits where from the time they give you the ticket, you ain't finna sign to the school.
Right. Right.
Okay, I'm gonna take your visit though. Be respectful. But I know I'm trying to go to Colorado.
Right.
So we did all of that, wasted their time. They ended up telling them, nah, I'm gonna go to Colorado. That fell through. They still waited on me. So I said, man, you know what? Like, I owe it to y'all to come. And when I came with that Met card, man, like seeing how much he threw it around, I'm like, oh yeah, this is the place for me.
Right. Man, that's interesting. I have a son that's now going through the process of being recruited, man, and that's one of the things I always tell him. No matter how big or how small you may think that school is, we're going to treat every single one of them with respect because you never know what's going to happen. It could be a coaching change. It can be anything that can make something that you thought was promising fall through. And now you're looking for the next thing. And sometimes, if you treat somebody wrong or they feel like you blowing them off, then that opportunity may pass you by. So it's very important. So what's your message to the recruits right now that have to go on these visits of how they should and respond to different coaches on different coaching staffs?
Man, that's a great question. I would say the football world is small. The sports world is small, but the football world is super small. Like, man, like you said, coaches they change jobs. You know, assistant may take a job over here, head coach get fired, he take a staff over here. You just never know who gonna be where. So many changes, man. Like, just it's all about building relationships. Like you said, no matter how small the school is, take the visit. Treat them like they Bama. Treat them like they Ohio State because you never know who's gonna be where. And especially with the portal, you never know a guy at a small school right now. 2 years from now, he may be at Alabama. He may be at Florida State, and he gonna remember how y'all had that relationship y'all had. Like, so you just never know. So I would just say, man, treat everybody with respect. Like, that's one thing I learned at Tennessee Martin. He told me, man, like, come here and treat this as your Florida State because that was my dream school. Like, treat every school like they're your dream school because you never know how the coaching staff gonna change around. And that coach that you know pushed to the side or brushed off, he may be at your dream school with opportunity for you, and he gonna remember. You know, so don't tear down bridges that you know you can't, that you never know you may need again. Don't you don't want to do that.
Yeah.
You know, and to the high school kids who's watching this right here, they need to learn from Jeremy right here. You know, he just set an example. He wanted to go to Colorado. Sometimes it ain't about where you want to go. It's about who wants you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, UT Martin didn't care what he wanted to do. Hey, man, we letting you know we want you.
Mm-hmm.
And some of these kids need to go to schools that want them instead of the schools they want to go to.
Yeah.
And that's what's going on now, too, real around here, man. A lot of kids want to go to certain schools because it sound good to their peers. Hey, man, I want to go to Georgia. But Georgia don't want you.
Right.
Bethune-Cookman want you.
Right. Right.
You know?
Right.
But Bethune-Cookman don't sound good in front of your peers. Georgia sound good, but if Bethune-Cookman wants you, that's where you go.
Yeah.
You go where who wants you.
Yeah.
And that's what Jeremy did. Jeremy went to UT Martin, man, because they really wanted him.
Oh,
They
yeah.
ain't caring nothing about Colorado. Hey, look, Jeremy, look, man. We got Carl over here. He throwing that ball. You say you can catch. Let's do this.
Yeah.
Hey, let's do it.
So when you got there, man, Derek Carr wasn't your quarterback, though. You had Jared Neal, right?
Yeah, Carl was there with me for 1 year, and it was Jared Neal.
Jared Neal, right. And, you know, I was able to watch some of your highlights, man, before getting you on. And Jeremy did his thing, man. I was very happy, excited to see you do your thing, man. To the point of, you know, Jeremy still holds currently. He set the records. And what that was, 2014, 2013, you set those records?
Yeah.
Single season?
Yeah.
And they're still holding right now at UT Martin. So that's a credit to what you did, man, the work that you put in while you were there. You got the single season reception as far as yards, right? Record.
Mm-hmm.
I think you have the single season reception record there at what, 90, 92 or something like that?
Yeah.
You also had you had several 100-yard receiving games to the note of probably 8 or 9 games, something like that.
Yeah.
And you also have, you're second on the list right now as far as the average reception per game, I believe at 7.5. Hey man, it's 2023, right? 24 right now. How does that make you feel that you had those statistics back in 14 and they're still holding today?
Hey, Jeremy, hold on, Jeremy, before you answer that. Boy, shame on Fred Gilmore, man. Boy, I can't wait to talk to Fred, boy. Boy, I can't wait to talk to Fred, boy. God, dog it, boy. Fred, you had tight end. Boy, I can't wait to talk to Fred, boy. Shame on Fred. Go ahead, Jeremy, go ahead. I'm going to talk to Fred, boy. God, be more careful, boy.
Nah, it feels good, man. It's humbling though. It's real humbling. Like, and I always say this too, man. Like, from my journey, I was never like that star guy, so I ain't never get that ego of self-made. Like, I never say that, man. There's so many people that go into like my journey, and I'm finishing up my book, man. And like, man, everybody you're gonna see, if whoever read it, you're gonna see is so many people that played a part in that. Like, from my guy Jermaine Leverett, the year I set out, man, he was a freshman when I was a senior in high school. He actually was throwing to me every day that year off. If I wouldn't have had him, like, I literally had nobody else to throw the ball to. So he kept me in shit that year off. Then when like you said, when I got to Tennessee Martin, Jared Neal was the starting quarterback. He took over my senior year. And then Brett Favre's nephew, Dylan Favre, one of my boys, man, they was splitting time. Them two just every day after practice, man, like making sure they give me the rock, making sure we going through stuff. Like I'm playing with two quarterbacks, so I'm adjusting to both of them. So I'm getting extra reps with them after practice in the summer. Like it's so many people that played a role into helping me like really put the work in. Like I had a DB named Thad. Man, he would take me literally before my senior year and I'm gonna make sure you're all American this year. So I'm gonna make sure and push me. And I did it. And I got my boy Quentin Stem to play on the other side of me as a receiver. 2 years. He was kind of like my measuring stick of like, cause I came from a D1 school, so that was my measuring stick. Like I gotta run my routes like Q. I gotta run routes better than him if I'm gonna be like considered a D1 pro level receiver. So there's so many people that helped me get them stats, man. Like I never sit there and take credit for it, but it's humbling, man. And, like I know for the guys who watching, like the younger guys who think they gotta go to Bama, like bro, go to a school that wants you, where you can go dominate, do your thing, and them scouts don't find you, man. Like I never, if I can do my career over, I would never not go to Tennessee Martin because I got those records that I can always show my sons. I can always brag to my sons about being an Associated Press All-American versus being at a Florida State or a Miami, and I'm a third string guy with like 400 yards. There ain't nothing to talk about.
Right.
I'm grateful for it.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah,
That's real awesome, man. So currently, like, do you have the opportunity to go back to UT Martin, and or when the last time you've been there?
Ooh, I ain't been there in a minute. I'm actually talking to my one of my former teammates, Julius McNair. He's the assistant athletic director. Man. He's getting in position to kind of be the main guy there. But me and him been talking about like so for now, like I work with student athletes on college and career readiness, so helping them get ready for school. If they don't get those scholarships, what's next? Trade school, entrepreneurship, understanding how to be professional and get a career. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to actually get that program ready so I can take it back to Tennessee Martin and work with a lot of their players as well too. So yeah, my plan is to go back. I ain't going back empty-handed, man. I'm gonna go back with some value because they definitely helped me.
Awesome.
big though.
Now, when you was finishing up your senior year, you were invited to the All-Star game, and I think it's called, is it the Medal of Honor game?
Yeah.
How was that experience? Because in that atmosphere, you did have an opportunity to be on the same field with a lot of different players from different schools. How was that experience for you?
Oh yeah, that gave me the last little push of confidence I needed, man. So when I went there, mind you, beginning of the season, after I had killed my junior year, I got the Reese's letter in the mail, man, saying you on the watch list for the Reese's Senior Bowl. So I'm like, okay, yeah, if I kill it, I'm gonna be there.
Yeah.
But that ain't come through. So when I got the Medal of Honor, it's like not getting a D1, but getting a D1 AA opportunity again. But by now, I'm used to that now. I ain't tripping. So I said, let me go kill it here. So I started watching. Let me see who all coming here. I see guys from Maryland. They got guys from Florida, guys from Tennessee. I'm looking at the roster like, oh, say less. This is my opportunity. And
Yes, sir.
From the first day, I knew, oh, I belong, bro. The big, that was just logos. That's all I seen on the helmet. That was just logos, bro. Like,
Yeah.
Once we got on that field, one-on-ones, it ain't take long for them to know, like, oh, man, who is that? Like, oh, you only went to D1 AA, bro. What you? Something had to happen. Like, yeah, man, I'm underdog story, but it was everything I needed to show people, like, man, I can dog out at this D1 level. So
Wow.
it was the last push I needed before I got into the league of, man, these guys just like me.
Yeah. And I guarantee you that did a lot for you, man. I can almost, I'm feeling like like it's resonating with me, right? Because it's one thing for, your parents or your friends to tell you that, man, you could ball. But it's another thing for those guys around the field with you that can verify, hey, man, you a baller, bro.
Yeah.
That's different. Like that coming from another ball player,
Yeah.
like that's different, So I'm happy that you had that experience, and like you said, that push, that kind of like, okay, yeah, I could do this, right?
Yeah, boy.
So Then becomes the 2014 draft. All right. And tell us about that experience. Like, where were you? What were you expecting? Were you nervous? Like, what was that experience like that? Cause bums like me and Green, we didn't have that experience. But what was that experience for you?
But I'm gonna tell you though. I'm gonna tell you before you answer it. I'm just enjoying his journey so far because you don't hear this type of journey.
Yeah.
And this the average kid journey.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the average kid that's playing little league football and high school football is gonna go through his journey more often than the 5 and 4 star journey.
Absolutely.
So this is a great story and a great situation for these kids to hear this, man, because they don't hear it.
Yeah.
And a lot of kids right now, because they're not 4 and 5 star, they kind of shy away from the game. Like, man, if I'm not a 4 or 5 star, I don't have a chance. There's a lot of kids right now giving up because of that.
Yeah.
Because they look at TV, look at all these coaches around here telling these kids, hey, man, you got to be this, you got to be that.
Right.
They don't never say you got to be Jeremy Butler.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And Jeremy Butler's story is way more common than any other story. When you're playing little league football, high school football.
You're right.
Everybody ain't going to be no D1, D1 AA, D2. Somebody got to go to NAIA.
You're right.
Somebody got to go to Division 2, Division 3.
Yeah.
You know, they don't want to hear them stories, though. So I'm glad we're sitting here talking with Jeremy about this.
Yeah.
You know. So I'm here, man. I'm here. Jeremy, go ahead and take me on this journey, Jeremy. I'm ready, baby. I'm ready.
So how was that experience, Jeremy, going through the NFL draft?
So it was a little nervous, man, but at first it's a lot more. It ain't as like much confusion as it seemed. I know as like from the fan experience, you look at it like, man, I don't know what's gonna happen. But like honestly, the schools that already been like the teams that already been coming to the school. So I kind of had already knew who was taking an interest in me, who was kind of like willing to, hey, we may take you in the 6th or 7th. So I kind of knew like, man, the first couple of days I ain't paying no attention.
Right.
So like I'm waiting for that. If it happened in the 5th round, it'd be a blessing. It'd be crazy. If it happened in the 6th round, okay, cool. Like that's kind of what I expected from what the team's been saying. 7th round, I think that too. But I know for the most part, a lot of the teams were just telling me like, hey, look, man, we may bring you in undrafted. If we do, well, we're gonna give you some money. We're gonna give you a signing bonus to let you know we're serious about you and that, priority. We want you here. So I'm just like, of course, I'm playing it cool to them. Like, okay, yeah, I take that cool, trying to keep it professional. But in my head, I'm like, man, I don't care how I get in there. If I'm the janitor, if y'all give me some cleats and a helmet, I'm gonna show you I belong. I ain't tripping. I just got to get in the door, but I can't tell them that. So I'm playing it cool.
Absolutely.
But draft day, it was kind of like me and my agent. We was just relaxing. I was at he had another player who got picked up in the 3rd round, and we were kind of like near each other, like an hour away. So I drove over, and we was all at his house. So he got picked, celebrated him, and then waited around. And it was between the Packers and the Ravens. I had went on a visit to Green Bay, and it's funny, the Ravens, I don't think they ever even came to the school, which was crazy. But I think Green Bay was offering me coming out the next day, and they wanted to give me like maybe 15, 20,000 to come. And Baltimore was like, okay, we'll give you 10 to come. So naturally, I'm thinking like, man, let me go get more money. But then me and my agent kind of talked about it. And I'm like, nah, I kind of been here before where let me pick the school that wants me. Let me pick the team that wants me. So I looked on the rosters. I started seeing that, man, Green Bay don't really keep no undrafted guys. They're going to give you a shot in camp. You're going to play. But Baltimore got receivers on the roster right now that played last year that was undrafted. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take my chance over there. Baltimore really worked with the guys. If you come in and earn it, they're going to get you a seat. So I chose Baltimore, man. Like, when I got that phone call, like, hey, man, we're going to take you. We're going to fly you out. We're going to do this. Here's your signing bonus. Again, I'm playing it cool. Like, okay, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I get my stuff back. Man, I got that phone and called everybody I knew. Like, I called everybody I knew, and I can remember clear as day, too. Like, I've never been a person to be like, I told you so, but I remember clear as day, like, oh, I wasn't crazy then.
Yeah.
I wasn't crazy when that Colorado scholarship fell through. I wasn't crazy when I bounced around JUCOs. I wasn't crazy when I told him I'm not playing tight end. Like, I wasn't tripping. I wasn't wrong. Like, Cause growing up, like everybody else telling me like, man, maybe you should play tight end, bro. It just, you still gonna get the ball.
Yeah.
Nah, bro, you don't understand. If I play tight end now, I ain't gonna never play receiver. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just it all came full circle. Like, bro, I was a 16, 17, 18-year-old kid telling grown men like, nah, man, you wrong, bro. Like, you
Yeah.
don't know what I'm gonna be. You wrong. Like, I'm gonna make it work for myself, but it ain't gonna be that way. So for all that to come full circle and it work, man, it ain't nothing but God, man. So it
That's
was just a
awesome.
real humbling experience.
Tell us about that first touchdown with Tyrod Taylor hit you, man. How was that experience for you when you caught that touchdown, man? Like, did it all come together? Like, what was that?
You doing your research, man.
Hey, Jeremy, I'm telling you, Jeremy, this boy right here, but this boy smooth with the research, Jeremy. This boy, Jeremy, he gonna tell you some stuff about you that you don't even know in a minute now.
Yeah,
You better get ready, Jeremy. I'm gonna tell you, boy.
That's funny, man. So coming out, and it's funny again, like the way when I used to watch games, you thinking stuff just kind of unfolding like as it is, but man, we already know these plays. When we get in the 20-yard line, we get in the 5, we get here, down in distance, time on the clock. We already be knowing this stuff. So we had caught me and my boy Jace Davis, he was kind of getting us down there with a couple of slants or whatever. And we got in that red zone, man, and Tyrod, as soon as we got there, I already knew, like, okay, we run this play in practice. Like, we got to run this. I've been killing it in practice.
Yeah.
So when he called it, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah.
Oh, man.
So, you come
Okay.
out the huddle, tighten the gloves up a little bit, you ready. So I get lined up. I'm reading the coverage. Oh, they got him on the island, too?
Ooh.
Guys to get in there.
Yeah.
I came out of my break, boom, boom, ball was there. Man, let me stick that thing across. Made sure I got in there.
Yeah.
I'm gone, man. Going to celebrate. After that, I was just ready to end the game so I can get back to everybody on my phone, bro. I already knew they was hitting me up, my family, my mama, my uncle. I
Yeah.
couldn't wait to tell my uncle, man, because that's like, he was like my Mr. Miyagi, bro. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
he trained me from about 5 years old. Used to put me outside 5 yards away, throwing the ball hard as he could.
Yeah.
You better not catch it with your body, like. So,
Yeah.
that's what got me right, man. So I couldn't wait to get back and talk to him about it, man. Like,
That's
come
awesome.
Full circle. It felt amazing though, and Tyrod, man, like he called that play for me too, cause he already knew. So that's number love, man.
Who that was against?
It was against San Francisco.
San Francisco?
Yeah.
I watch it. I bet he know this. Who was guarding you? What cornerback that was guarding you?
I don't even remember, man.
What? You don't remember who was guarding you on your first touchdown?
Nah. I do remember this though. I got a picture, man. I remember we played against the Seahawks, and they was like the whole little Legion of Boom era, this, that.
Yeah.
I'm just like, man, I ain't seeing none of that. To get off, man. Then we had Steve Smith was a little hurt that game, so
Okay.
I'm like, okay, we're gonna get some reps this week. And man, I went out there and had a good game against them, but I'll never forget though. I put that stiff arm on Sherman.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of them ones where as soon as I get back to the car, I'm letting my boys know, like, man,
Yeah.
I told y'all these dudes y'all been looking up to. I couldn't wait to tell them. I was looking up to these dudes, man. They're regular, bro.
So Jeremy, now did you have a draft party before you? Did you have a draft party?
Nah, man, like, I ain't care about none of that, man. I was just trying to get there. Like, I ain't care about none of that. Like, matter of fact, when I had to go up, I ain't even have time to go back home. So I didn't come back home till after like the training camp, like the first mini camp. Cause like, as soon as the draft was over, they flew us out. Like maybe I had like a day to get ready. Had a flight the next day. Went out there straight from my college. I didn't even go home because I was training up in school. And then probably like after a month or so, month and a half, that's when I finally came back home. And my mom, I didn't have a draft party, but she had like a big, like it was kind of around the time of my birthday. She had like a big surprise party. All my family, all my loved ones, had everybody speaking and kind of like just pouring in. It's like, man, like I remember at this part of the story, man, you was doing this and we helped you out. I remember this part, you was going through that, man, and we didn't know what was going to happen, but you made it out. So it broke me down in tears, man. But that was the closest thing I had to a draft party.
Yeah, man. I mean, just to hear your journey, man. Yeah. That's why I didn't know if you said anything about a party, a draft party. You know, a lot of guys, they be having them draft parties.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He ain't kidding about no draft party.
Yeah.
So when you went to, huh?
I just wanted to get in the locker room, man. I was trying to play ball.
I know that's
Yeah.
right. I know that's right.
I know I went back with the draft. I know we was talking about your first touchdown in the NFL. So what I want to know is it a big difference from being a college receiver and an NFL receiver? Is it a big difference? Was it like when you out there on the field? Is it a big difference? Like the competition, is it that much difference than college?
Man, it's crazy, man. It's gonna flip a lot of people out, but I think it's easier. It's easier because at the end of the day, like in college, I kind of have more attention, so it's like that linebacker creeping over. You know, that safety note, he got to watch it and help a little bit too. But in the league, man, everybody was the best player to some degree on their team somewhere. So it's a lot of one-on-one. Like, it's one-on-one. If I beat you, I'm good. Like, versus in college, it's more like you stand out. So it's like, man, they scheming for me in college. In the league, unless you like the main guy, and even then, they still trust a good paid cornerback to guard you one-on-one. So it's a lot more one-on-one in the league. So I think it's easier. And when you start to understand how to read coverages and watch film, it moves in slow motion, man, because no matter how good this guy is, I know his responsibility ain't gonna change from that coordinator. So I kind of already know where you got to be at. So it get a lot easier.
Oh, see, a lot of people don't. Like you said, people gonna think he tripping by saying that.
Yeah.
And what about the playbook? The playbook is a whole lot bigger than college.
Man, listen, that we probably had about 180 plays, and then you got majority of those plays can fit into like another 10, 12 like formations. Then those formations got like variations and different motions.
Man. Yeah.
And it's situational where it's like some of these routes, they third and short, and you man, now that option got like you got a 2 or 3 way option on the route. Like it's so many different moving parts. So like that's why I tell players, I teach athletes this now, man. Like y'all are geniuses. It's just it's not measured or celebrated, but for you to be able to run full speed and to run and count the yards that you're running based on steps, to then be able to like know where you got to be at, and know the quarterback is on the timing, and then know the coverage and adjust to the coverage full speed, and then you got to hand fight with a dude who's stopping you from doing it. Bro, you borderline genius if you can memorize and like process all of this running full speed, and then you got a split second to react to where the ball at.
Yeah.
So it's mentally, the game really is 90% mental.
That's awesome. Let me ask you this, because you mentioned him. What's one of your craziest Steve Smith stories that you can recall, if you had one, or most memorable?
I got 2, man. I got 2. So I remember the first time as receivers, man, we kind of, went out together and hung out. And I'm a young college kid. I'm in the league, man. So we went out. We just went in, hanging at like a little restaurant. And man, a dude I don't even think he really even bumped into me. He like, he barely grazed me, man. Like, he yoked him up, bro.
Steve Russ the dude.
That boy, wow, man.
Grabbed him. He said, "Hey, man, you just bumped into my guy, man. Say, excuse me." He said, "Man, I'm sorry, my bad." I'm like, he's with it. And then, man, Monday Night Football, man.
Oh my God.
The special teams coach and the weightlifting coach. Those are always like the military type of dudes just gonna cuss everybody out, snapping, yelling all day. So we had a guy, man, like Coach Jerry, I never forget. Man, he was terrified. It's in the league too. Man, he cussing everybody out. He had this aura about him, like didn't play. Man, we Monday Night Football. One of the rookies made a mistake, and Jerry letting into him. Like, nah, bro. I'm like, the play was 3 plays ago. Man, Steve came over there and told him. He was like, "Hey, all right, man, that's enough. Like, shut the F up." And everybody looking like, what is Monday Night Football? The cameras on, they got the little boom mics in him.
Yeah.
Why I know Jerry ain't gonna take that? Because Jerry, like, he got like this, bro, he the tough guy to us. Man, when I seen him say, all right, Steve.
But Steve Ruff, boy.
That's Steve Ruff, boy.
I'm looking like, nah, not Jerry.
Nah, Jerry.
Man, Jerry ain't still a word. And I'm looking like, and the head coach right there, Harbaugh, everybody right there, ain't nobody stating nothing. And I'm like, oh yeah, it's his team.
Wow.
Steve like a little pit bull, ain't it?
Man, all them stories. So hey, all those stories that you would hear about Steve and what we know of, right? That's been on TV, right?
Yeah.
That's what I see. What you just described. I'm just trying to figure out how often does that come out from Steve? You know.
Steve like a pit bull, man, because he ain't that tall, is he?
Nah, Steve built like a running back, man. Steve about 5'8", probably about 195, maybe close to 200. He just real solid dude. But one thing I will say though, man, I had to tell him this myself is the way I kind of look. I used to play with you on Madden growing up, so the way I always look at Steve Smith and do up like the crazy stories and fighting. Well, I got to give him his credit, man. I had to tell him this too is the way he can turn it off. He only like a warrior in those pads, man. But like, see how he is with his family because he invited the receivers up. And we train, man. Introduced me to Randy Moss. We in Charlotte training. Staying at Steve's house, man. We driving the Steve truck around town. So he took care of us, man, like in his house, like not a hotel, his personal house with his family. And for him to open his doors like that and let us kind of vibe with him, we in the pool, you know, and then like seeing how gentle he is with his kids, like with his wife, and just like, oh, it's a switch, you know what I mean? Like he ain't this all the time. And so I like, man, I gotta respect you for that. And like be able to be that gentle with the love, and turn it on when the shoulder pads come on. Cause you think most dudes that's like that, they never stop and they do that at home too. But nah, he ain't like that at all. He cool, man.
Wow.
What about Ed Reed? Ed Reed was that one?
Nah, Ed Reed was gone.
Ed Reed was gone?
Ray Lewis, man. Ray Lewis, he was gone too, but he would come in a lot. And you know, man, you thinking like, well, we all done heard Ray Lewis speech. You know what I mean? So you think, okay, I'm finna hear one of these things in person. I'm talking about Ray came in there in a 3-piece suit. Like, I'm talking about with a little handkerchief. Man, dog, he gave us the speech. You would have swore he was coming out there with us head first. He gave us the speech. The speech was so intense and so passionate. I'm just like, man, bro, I'm ready to run through it. I don't never like jump and get rah-rah. He had all of us in that wild, because I'm usually cool, calm, and
Right.
laid back. Man, he had everybody in there crazy, bro. Like a Spartan.
Wow.
He can motivate anybody, bro. I give him that. He can motivate anybody.
Wow.
That's had a suit on,
That's
Jeremy.
amazing.
Bro, in a great 3-piece.
Wow.
3-piece too, man.
That's amazing, man.
He the real deal.
Listen.
3-piece suit on, real.
Well, Jeremy, you ended up. That's so funny, man. That's wild. Those wild stories. Also playing with Tampa Bay, the Jets, the Chargers, and I believe you finished up at the Bills. There's always life after football, right? And sometimes for athletes, that transition can be kind of difficult. To go from being in the locker room with the guys, being in an organization where everything is on schedule and you know where that next check is coming from. How was that transition from the league back to just being in your family and because I'm not sure if you had kids at that point or you're married at that point, but how was that transition just going back to what I would say civilian life?
Yeah. So, man, the kind of feeling that gap, man. So I did have my son that year I set out.
Okay.
My now wife, she was my girlfriend at the time. The year I set out, man, being a little grown, that's when we actually had my oldest son. The year I set out. So when I went back to Tennessee Martin, he was 2 at the time when I was leaving out. So when I came in the league, my son was about 2.5, 3. And so when I was coming out of the league, what led me to kind of like really like be at peace with, man, this time was me coming home, because like I was never one of those. I ain't never have a big guaranteed contract, so I'm kind of like, man, like I'm gonna rent somewhere. I ain't gonna buy no home and do all that because you never know. I might be out of town next week. So my wife, my then now wife at the time, she was at home. They stayed back in Sarasota, so me and my son wasn't building a relationship. Here I am in the league, but I'm essentially doing the same thing my dad, did to me. Wasn't there? So me and him didn't have a relationship, and then I would come home and visit. Man, my son didn't even know me. Like he would cry. Like he would cry when he's trying to come to me. Like I'd pick him up, he would scream. And I'm just like, man, nah, I can't do this. Like I can't do this too much longer. And so that's when I kind of finally made terms like, it's gonna be football or fatherhood. And I made that choice, man, with no hesitation. And that's when I walked away from the game. And then I would say those first 6 months, like of course I knew I was doing the right thing, but I didn't know what I was doing. I'm getting out of the league, back to civilian life, trying to be a father, learn how to do that. Now it's easy to kind of have a good relationship with your lady because, man, we only seen each other here and there. So when we come home, it's like, I miss you, baby. Where you been at? But now I'm here every day in the house, and it's like, okay, it's a different rotate, it's a different pattern. So it was a struggle at first, man. Like that. A lot of players say identity crisis. I know exactly what it is. So, like I mentioned earlier, I use sports to kind of like run away from my childhood, run away from that pain I felt growing up. And I ain't got nothing to run with no more. I can't run nowhere now. I retired, so all of that caught back up. All of that kind of just walked me down, and I had to deal with it. So man, anxiety was through the roof. Like just wasn't motivated to do nothing. Like I ain't really feel like that sense of purpose. I ain't had like that network, that locker room camaraderie. I ain't have that no more. So like, man, you go through it, bro. You be like, man, what's next, bro? Like football couldn't have been like just the high of my life and everything else is coming down. Like I'm only 30, so I wasn't even 30 at the time. So I'm just like, man. But I got into therapy, and man, we from.
Yeah. Yeah.
You only go talk to a doctor. Bones broke, somebody had a baby, or somebody bleeding and you can't stop it.
Yeah.
So to say like, oh, I'm gonna go talk to a doctor about what's going on mentally, like I was embarrassed, bro. I ain't want to nobody. I was in therapy about 5 months before I even told anybody.
Wow.
But when I started seeing like, oh, that's what this is. I'm dealing with this. This is why I'm anxious, because I don't have nothing to fulfill me. Like my identity was in football. Like I only know how to do one thing. I've only been trained to do one thing. I've only been trained to make money this way. I've only been trained like care about this one thing all my life. And now I'm in here like I don't have that. So what's next? And I just started building and tapping into. Like I started trying stuff. Man, I jumped into entrepreneurship with real estate. I was good at it, but I'm like, it's just too transactional. I want to make an impact. And I tried like having a trucking business broker, and I'm just like, I'm good at it. I can make money, but I want to make an impact. Bro. I want to deal with people. Like I come from that locker room vibe. I need a team around me. And then that's when my boy Vernon, man, he played in the league too. And Vernon, he was at the Air 5 with me. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So man, he gave me a talk, man. I like to say it's that ego talk. We talked about, being one of them 1%ers and then coming back down and not knowing how to kind of, take flight again. You get content. And he taught me about, man, bro, you a professional, so you always gonna be a professional. Anything you do. And go make an impact with these kids, bro. Like they need you, they need to hear your story, they need to hear you. So I started like going to school, speaking with kids, talking to them, and one thing led to another. And like, man, I got a gift for talking to people, man. I got a gift for talking to these kids. Like, and I realized, like you said, it's more Jeremy Butler story than it is Odell Beckham or Ray Lewis or Pat Mahomes stories. There's more kids that's gonna go through my journey than it is they're gonna go through that one. So it's my purpose, you know what I mean? My story is 98% of the team.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I started realizing like that's my purpose, man. And so I just really started developing speaking, man, speaking to kids, speaking to companies, speaking to schools. And then from there, man, I fell through a lot of gaps. If I can just teach kids how to not fall through those gaps, that'll make their journeys a lot smoother. If I can teach kids about entrepreneurship in trade school, because you don't got to go to school and go into debt if you don't got a scholarship. It's like, man, all the people I was networking with making all the money, they was entrepreneurs and business owners. And I'm just like, okay, this is my new craft, man. This is my new skill set to work on. I started finding myself. And the final, like I would say the final thing over that got me over the hump, because I had ran from the church too, man. I had ran from the Bible. I went through a little phase of, man, I don't want to hear that, bro. I going on with all that. So it just got to a point, man, like, got back to my roots, went in that closet, and I'm just like, man, hey, boy, I can't carry this no more, man. Like, I'm tired. Like, let it all out. I was crying like a baby in there, too. And I was laughing because I'm like, what I'm crying for? But you just, through therapy and through, like, just maturing, bro, you realize you carry so much that you never process or let out. So as I was getting all of that out, man, my relationship with God got stronger. And from there, just everything started coming to me of what to do next. Like, man, get the podcast. And me and my son got on that together. The school, like going to the schools, working with the schools, they started giving me advice. Hey, you need to put together a speaking package. You can get paid for this. I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. Okay, I'll do that. Hey, like, you got a journey that you can help your kids navigate. Do college and career readiness. So, I'm like, okay. So I don't got to work for the school. I can come and partner with the school, teach their kids, help them build relationships and do my thing. I can do that. So, one thing led to another, man, and that's what I'm in now, and it's just growing year after year.
Wow.
Man, that's crazy. I'm sitting here listening to you, Jeremy, boy. You a special dude, man. The reason I'm saying that because for you to walk away from the NFL like that, a lot of young guys in the hood, but they don't do that, man. Mm-hmm. They don't do that because of the money or because of pride. When you say you in the NFL in the hood, that carry a lot of weight.
Mm-hmm.
You're a celebrity.
Yeah. And for you to walk away from that, man, I know you, whoever your wife is right now, I don't know her, and your kids, they gonna really, really, really appreciate that, man, because you walking away from the game at a young age to maintain fatherhood in your household. Mm-hmm. And when you said your son didn't know who you was, and you like, man, hey, man, I got to be here for my family. Yeah. This boy walked away from money.
Right.
How many people in the hood walk away from money, real? Yeah. Not too many. So you a special dude, man. Like I say, man, I'm really enjoying this conversation right now. To me, it's not even a conversation, man. I like to say we in the backyard. Man, it's some good backyard talking right here.
Yeah.
And these kids really who listening to this podcast tonight, man, they need to take heed, man.
Yeah.
He really just let you know money ain't everything.
Yeah.
Family is,
And he brought up a good point, man. As you were talking about your son not knowing you when you got back, I want to ask you this. What was it that made you decide that I'm going to fight for that relationship when a lot of guys have just said, all right, you don't know me, didn't fight at all? Mm-hmm. Especially when we may have examples or non-examples where we don't know how to fight for that. Like, did it break you down? How did you feel, and what made you really fight for that relationship?
Man, so I'm gonna try to get this out, but without touching that nerve. So I just knew what it felt like, man. Like, I knew what it felt like to be my son at that time. Like, I ain't had the words to describe it, but man, it wasn't nothing my daddy could have told me that would have made up for not being there. You know what I mean? Like, not the NFL. He could have been the president. Like, you could have been fighting a war. Man, you'd have had to be in heaven next to God himself. Like, for me to, and I still probably want to excuse you from just not being there for me, So, and that feeling I had of just like I said, I ain't feel valued, man. Like, it's only so much a mother can do. I ain't feel valued. I ain't feel important. I ain't feel I had so many questions like, how do I be a man? Like, how do I become a successful man? Like, what is this? Like when I was going to school and like my whole life felt like a like trial and error. I ain't had the guidance I was looking for as a man. So for me, like I knew like it was only so long I could fake the funk and say, man, like daddy was making a life for you. Daddy was making a living for you. It's man, there's so many things you can do in this world to make a living for your son. I couldn't hide behind that excuse no more, man. And so for me, it was just like, and then the fact that I was in the NFL and I wasn't really fulfilled. You know what I mean? Like I'm playing ball, I'm doing my thing, I'm making great money. We getting six figures, not even in a year. We getting that in 6 months. The season ain't even a full year, so we traveling all over the country. Like I can do whatever I want as a 24, 25, 26 year old. But I still ain't had that peace. I still ain't had that joy. I still ain't fully embraced and accept myself as a man. But I had success, you know what I mean? So for me, it was like, okay, I'm here. Like I feel like God kind of like the best trick in the world He played on me. I'm gonna let you get what you want to show you that that's not what you need. But I'm gonna still let you get what you want, and I'm gonna show you through getting what you want that at the end of the day you're gonna have to come back to what's important. And
Mm-hmm.
so, man, being in the league and still like feeling like, man, nah, like I know it's important to me. So that's why I made that jump. And when I say that, like I don't want nobody to ever get it twisted because you know we hear guys say like, I'm doing it for my son, I'm doing it for my, my son will motivate me or my kids. It wasn't easy just because I sacrificed for the league and I got home and like being a daddy. That wasn't easy. This is harder than the NFL because I'm learning every single day what I don't know and I'm still struggling. I'm still picking up pieces. I'm still learning. I'm still like every single like age my son get to. I'm learning like I got to become a different level, like layer of a man. Like so, it's still work, man. This is more work than the league. So it ain't like it's peaches and cream because I made that sacrifice. That sacrifice just opened the door for me to start doing this work. But I think about it like if I would have stayed in the league and got that next contract, that 3 year, even like a little 7 million, $6 million contract, I would have kept pursuing it that much longer. And that's 3 years that's 3 years I'd be behind right now. And trying to build that relationship, I still be playing catch up. So man, I don't regret not one bit of it. But just having that relationship with my son, man, it was worth more than anything the league was gonna ever give me.
That's big, that's real.
Let me ask you this, because I have experienced this, kind of the same thing as far as me being in school and have to come back with my daughter. You do have a daughter, right?
Yeah.
All right. Is there a difference between your son when you were away, opposed to your daughter, which you were there present the whole entire time? Is it? And I'm not, when I say difference, just meaning, and just being able to be that father and knowing, okay, this type of presence really affects the outcome of my child in a
Oh
positive
yeah.
way.
And man, I do you one better. So I got my oldest son, Jace. He 11. Got my middle son, Jeremy Jr. He's 6. Then I got baby girl Jael too. So Jael, so she's never seen the house without mom and daddy together. When I
Mm-hmm.
tell you, just a ball of like confidence, adventurous. She's super super smart. Like just you can tell, like man, she got a huge personality. And I know it's because of that. Then my second son, Jeremy, he like I was home. He caught me like we had him. He's 6, so he was kind of like on the back end of coming out of the league. But he maybe seen I was in the league when he was probably maybe 1, so he ain't really missed nothing. But daddy was home. I retired, and he seen me the next 4 or 5 years. So for him, when I tell you just like that same thing, the confidence, like the confidence within himself, he more adventurous, he bolder, he rougher, he don't think twice. He go because he know daddy got his back. Whereas my oldest son, man, like he's just not coming out of that like that shell of like finding himself, being confident in himself. Man, I share this story too. I never shared this story public. Me and my son, man, like we was about a year and a half ago. we were sitting down talking, man, and he kind of just had like a little phase where he kept trying to be. He's been too competitive with his little brother for attention. I'm just like, man, you the big brother, like you don't got to do that. And so I sat him down and talked to him. And I was like, again, like me learning how to be a dad. And I got vulnerable and told him how much he meant to me and how much I love him. And I finally told him the story of me walking away from the league. And I said, like, you don't know why I left, do you? Like, you just see the jerseys and you know I played, but you don't really know why I left. He's like, nah. So I broke the story down to him and I told him, bro, I walked away from the game because of you. Like, I ain't have my daddy growing up. I ain't want that. And I walked away from what I cared about because I wanted to be in your life, man. Like, I told him how much he meant to me and how much I love him. Bro, like, you'd have thought it was a movie. Like, he just, 11 years old, bust out crying, bro.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Broke down crying, and
Wow.
he just told me, like, he didn't know. Like, he didn't know I felt like that about him. And it's funny, he told me, he asked his mom, like, a couple of days later, he asked her, and she told me, he went and asked his mom, like, you know, Mom, what it mean when somebody tell you they love you and they make you cry? And he was like, what that mean? I couldn't control it. And she started laughing. She was like, that just mean that you really needed to hear it, son.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's deep,
after
man.
that, that's when he finally started breaking out his little shell and like, okay, man, like, at the end of the day, I know Daddy got my back. I can go out here and fail, try and do whatever I want to do. Man, Daddy got my back. Like, that's when he finally opened up. So it's a huge difference.
Yeah. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
But like I say, you know, there's so many stories like that in the hood.
Yeah.
Cause like me, I grew up without my dad. I mean, was he around? Yeah, he was around town, but he went around my house.
Right.
You know, but I don't know if it bothered me like that because everybody I hung with in the hood, dad wasn't there. So it's like a normal thing, you know. So I don't know if my dad would have been there. I don't know what type of guy would have been, you know. I don't know, you know.
Mm-hmm.
My dad was an alcoholic at the time. I probably would have been an alcoholic or something if he would have been there,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But I do know this. By me not having a dad, but it was older guys in the neighborhood that shaped me up to be a good dude. You know, as far as like, you know, some of the older guys in the neighborhood, my uncles, and you know, even some of my homeboys. And I was gonna be there for my kids. You know, I got a son. He's 25. I got a daughter, 22. And all they know is me. Every time they open their eyes, they gonna see me. You know. I ain't gonna be like my dad, and I don't know if my dad listens to it right now. I don't even care if he is listening to it.
Right.
But I made sure that I wasn't gonna be like him, and I'm not even talking negative about him.
Mm-hmm.
I just never developed a relationship for him.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have no bad ill will about him. I just don't have the feelings. You know how my son and my daughter feel for me.
Right.
I don't have that feeling for my dad.
Right.
You know, so I know what Jeremy talking about somewhat,
Yeah.
but I know good and hell well my kids gonna know who I am. You know,
Oh, yeah.
and that was big what you did because you
Huge.
really wanted your kids to know who you was.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He could have went and made $7 more million. Yeah, he could have been rich. He could have had a big house, big cars. But if you come on to a kid that don't know you and that's your blood, man, you gonna forget all about that.
Yeah. No money in the world is gonna
What?
take that away. You know,
What?
especially if you care. Especially if you
Yeah,
care.
man.
And that you want to be a part of that
Yeah.
child's life.
I mean, money help now, you know.
Much respect to you, man. Much respect to you, man. And it's funny too, man, because I had finally got that call too, man. That call from, well, if you go here, they gonna anybody can make it over here. You gonna get you some, you gonna make you some money,
Mm-hmm.
man. New England and Tom Brady had made that call, man.
Wow.
See that?
My agent Drew Rosenhaus at the time, he's like, man, the Patriots want to bring you in, and I was like, nah, man, like. I made my decision. So, and in Patriots, anybody can go there and play, catch a ball from Brady and look good, and get you another contract. But I was done, man. And I'll say this too, man. Like with my pops, we got a great relationship now, man. Like he introduced me to the therapist that I have now. So it all came full circle, man. But like me and him got a great relationship now. It's just, and I told him this, like, I'm thankful for you not being there because if you would have been there, it probably would have. I would have tried to become who you wanted me to become, or I would have became, whatever you was. And not that I'm knocking you, like my dad's a successful dude, man, but I would have never had the curiosity to go figure out what it is to be my own man, or figure out like, hey, like what does it take to be a man, be a family man? Like I wouldn't have had that curiosity. I would have just followed in his footsteps.
Wow. That's
crazy,
huge, man.
And then it's crazy for what he just said.
Wow.
I thank you for not being there.
Yeah.
But a lot of times we hear that if there's no father in the house, a kid might go into the wrong direction.
Yeah.
Jeremy just said, Dad, I thank you for not being there.
Yeah.
So is it always good to have two parents in the household? It might not.
I think it has. I definitely think it has its advantages. I don't think it's more about two parents in the household. I think it's more about who those two parents are that's in the household.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
My mom ain't
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, man. You are now currently have a podcast that you're actually sharing some air with, and the podcast is called
Filling the Gaps.
And why fill in the gaps, sir? Why fill in the gaps?
Man, because I was kind of pissed off, man. Like when I had finally got to the league and when I had retired and I started reflecting back on it, and I'm just like, man, I ain't the only one that went through that. I ain't the only one that went through, not having dad. I ain't the only athlete to not get a scholarship, not be ranked. I ain't the only athlete to go through JUCO. I ain't the only athlete to have to come home and sit out and then go back to school. I ain't the only one to go to a D1 AA. I'm not the only dude that went into the league undrafted. I'm not the only guy that has like the regular, the average career is 3 years. I was blessed to have, 5 years in the league. So I'm just like, man, like my story ain't rare. It's the average. It's like really it's the majority. And I'm like, man, ain't all these gaps I was falling in, like, bro, ain't nobody giving game, ain't nobody helping, like.
Wow.
So I'm like, man, all those potholes and gaps I fell in, man. You mean to tell me ain't nobody reached back out and ain't nobody out here like, hey, young fella, man, this is what you need to be prepared for. This is a possibility. Like, hey, all the guys that went to JUCO and made it to the league, you mean to tell me they ain't telling nobody? Before you leave JUCO, make sure your transcripts together to accept the scholarship. You can't just take anything. I'm just like, why nobody out here giving game if the majority of guys going through this? I know what it is. Like, I used to be so timid about my career. Like, people ask me about the league, I'm like, man, bro, I ain't had no big contract. I ain't played for one team for 7 years. I ain't get all that. I ain't make no Pro Bowls. And I ain't score a bunch of touchdowns. And I was on special teams. Like, man, nobody want to hear that. But when you realize that it don't matter what level you play at, everybody respects everybody respects the athlete. And then when you realize the majority of guys go through what I went through, it's like, oh, nah, y'all just scared to talk about it, man. Like, because it's obviously happening. So I'm like, man, somebody need to talk about the gaps that these kids are falling into. And especially, it led with fatherhood, but it's just like, man, I ain't the only one going through this stuff. So let me fill in those gaps, man, and help these kids have a smoother transition.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, that's good, man.
That's awesome. Filling the Gaps podcast. And I know you a part of that. You have your son sharing a little bit of being a co-host. I had the opportunity to watch a couple of them, man, and that really what made me even reach out to you because it drew me in so quickly. And I was telling Green about the podcast and shared that with him as well, man. So we like, man.
He told me about you, Jeremy.
Like we got to have Jeremy on, man. This
he kept
is
saying it too, boy.
Like this is what he's doing is special, and I hope that everybody has the opportunity to go and subscribe to the podcast, and also make sure you just tune in. It's one thing for people have a podcast and just talking crazy, but it's another thing for someone to have something and is talking with some substance that's going to actually help that father, that family, that little boy that needs, and a part of just him being a part of the podcast is actually helping him speak in front of the camera. So all those tools and things that he's getting just being on air with dad, right? it's later in life, it's gonna turn out, hey, he may be speaking in front of millions. So hey, that's what I'm gonna wish for anyway. So
hey y'all, if y'all get this podcast, it's some good dads out here, man.
Yeah.
Everybody ain't no deadbeat. That's all we hear in the hood. Deadbeat dads. Deadbeat dads.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need to choose the right woman too now.
Yeah.
Some of these women make these dads deadbeats. Yeah, they don't like to hear that though. Some of these women deadbeats. But Jeremy, man, like I say, man, hey, Reggie Ben told me about you, man. Reggie Ben wanted to get you on the podcast. I looked at, some of your stuff on YouTube. How you was sitting there talking with your son, man. I'm talking, you talking to your son like a grown man. Son that's sitting there taking it, man, And I like how you was talking to him from a 11-year-old standpoint. Because I seen one podcast you say, man, I don't know if I need to be talking to you about this. I guess you all talking about sex or whatever. But Jeremy said, if a girl wrote you a letter, I need to talk to you about it then.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So, I did a little research on you, man. I don't do a lot of research, Jeremy. I like to sit back and listen to people talk. I like to feed on it like that. My boy right here, Reggie, he going to research you, boy. He going to research you.
That's good. That's how it's supposed to be. I like it.
Yeah. So listen, man, Jeremy, we about to close out, man. But before we do that, my boy always like to give his flowers to our guests.
Yes, sir, Jeremy. Boy, listen, man. I never met you before. I'm glad I met you tonight. And man, you a stand-up dude, man. Stand-up dude. Great father. The sacrifices you made throughout your career. I mean, I'm still tripping on that boy walked away from $7 million. Then he say he walked away from Tom Brady. That boy walked away from a Super Bowl. Boy, your wife and your kid, boy, they need to hug you right now, Jeremy. You hear me? They need to hug you right now. But man, look, man, I want to give my I'm gonna stop saying flowers, man. I'm gonna give my football to you. Yeah, man, I'm gonna give you a football tonight, man. And I really enjoyed listening to you talk, man. Really enjoyed your story, man. Keep up the good work, Jeremy. Keep being a great father, man, and keep representing Sarasota. But I'm still talking to Fred. Hey, Fred, man, I'm going to talk to you, Fred. Got my boy Jeremy playing the tight end, man. Boy, tight end, man. That boy ain't had no weight, be no tight end. I thought my boy Fred supposed to know talent. Hey, Fred, holler at me, Fred. Holler at me, Fred.
Hey, Jeremy, man, before we let you go, man, is there anything you got to shout out or anything you want to say, man? You want to give a plug to what you got going on about yourself, man? This your time, bro.
Man, I appreciate it, man. I just want to say thank you, man. Some of the questions y'all asked me, man, even having me on, like I said, some of that stuff I ain't even shared with nobody before. So, man, I appreciate y'all, man, for making me comfortable enough to come on here and talk about my life story. I enjoyed it, man, and as far as what I got going on, just the podcast, man, everything gonna be coming through there. We actually revamping it a little bit. I want to protect my son a little more, man, because somebody said something a little slick in the comments, and I was researching it, but I'm out to find it. I'm gonna protect him a little more, man. I don't want to put him out there on the internet so much, but like you said, it's his training opportunity, man, to learn how to speak. But so we're gonna bring on more guests, man. We're gonna revamp how we doing the podcast. But as of now, man, that's about it, man. Everything gonna come through there. But like I said, I appreciate coming on here, man, and really chopping it up with you guys. Best thing I can leave anybody with, best thing I can say anything I can tell anybody about myself is, man, God, man, get your relationship with Christ, man. Get your relationship with God for yourself, man. Study, pray, talk to God. Get in that Bible for yourself. That's the biggest thing that changed my life, man. That's the best feeling above playing ball is having that relationship with God and having my faith right, man. That's the center of everything I do. So that's all I wanted to share, man. Thank y'all again for having me.
Absolutely.
Thank you, man. We appreciate you, man.
Des, anything you want to say? Anything you heard tonight that stood out? Huh?
Jeremy Desi, man.
Oh
Desi
my God,
over
she's so shy.
man.
She's so shy.
My goodness, man.
Well, listen, man. Hey, this has been a great start to season 13, man. And I just want to say thank you again for coming on. Hopefully, this is not the last time. Me and Jeremy spoke a little bit earlier. He said, "Man, listen, this don't have to be it now. If you want to come back and let me on some backyards and be a part of some topics, that he'll do that too." So
Jeremy coming to hang out, bro.
Yeah, so hopefully
good brother here now.
Yeah, so hopefully, man, we can definitely hook that up so you can come back and join in on some others topics of conversation. You know what I'm saying? But it's been a pleasure, man. Just like I thought, man. Just from the first time I met you, you just kind of elevated that tonight even more so. So thank you so much, man. I know that your family is blessed to have you, man. Your boys and your little girl and your wife, man. So you're doing some huge things, and I hope at some point a lot of people tune into what you got going on, because you got a lot of things that you can give to the community and to other people and families. This is your guest, man. One of your guests, real deal, my boy the Godbar, man. We out of here, man. Make sure you subscribe to Troof Be Told, and also go check out my boy and subscribe to fill in the gaps as well.
Check them out.
And listen, we out of here.
We out.
Peace.
Truth, really, that's all we know. Keep it real and authentic. This truth be told, only the truth. Tune in, cause you gotta watch. It's like you with us while we kick it in the barbershop. Here to motivate and inspire. Hosted by the real deal and the God Barber. I hope that you ready. Keep it funny and edgy. Let's go. You already know. Truth be told. Let's go.